We live in an incredibly fragmented world. Too often, we find ourselves working in isolation, insinuating gaps in a once interconnected ecosystem. This fragmentation not only affects us, but also the animals we share our world with.
My name is Brigitta Gunawan from Indonesia. I am a Darwin 200 leader here in Australia, conserving greater gliders in the Great Eastern Ranges.
Greater gliders are one of the world's largest gliding mammals. Found high in the canopies of eucalyptus forests in eastern Australia. They have a membrane of thin skin between their front and hind legs that can be folded out to serve as a parachute, giving the animals the remarkable ability to glide distances of up to 100 meters in a search for food and nesting hollows.
A really beautiful animal. It's a big tree-dwelling animal, the beautiful long fluffy tail, which doesn't, as far as we can tell, have a call that you can hear, so you don't hear them chattering in the treetops.
Yet their population has declined by 80% in the last 20 years. The Black Summer bushfires of 2019 and 2020 resulted in an estimated 60% decline in the number of species in the Greater Blue Mountains, listing them as endangered.
The wider Great Eastern Ranges region is suffering from quite a number of threats that are impacting directly upon our beautiful glider species. They include ongoing effects from past habitat fragmentation, the loss of large trees, particularly ancient trees that have big hollows that can take several hundred years to develop, and also the intensive fires that we've experienced in recent years.
But they require a large hollow in the tree to be able to survive. They require a particular age of the leaves on the trees to be able to feed healthily, so the young leaves at the tops of the trees are what they prefer. And we have had times during drought when lots of these animals have fallen out of trees because they've starved when there's no new regrowth on the trees.
Well-established forests are their primary ecosystems, and the more that we manipulate these forests and create breakages to them, it means that they're more and more found in urban areas, that they are getting embroiled in barbed wires. They're seeing predators like cats and foxes, and then that increases competition and stress to those populations as well.
We joined a team of ecologists for a spotlighting session where they used red torches to search for nocturnal mammals at night. Very quickly, we spotted something. A brush-tailed possum. Nice to see, but not what we were looking for. We took a record of the sighting and moved on. But it wasn't long before we saw yet another possum. And another. It seemed that in order for us to find the greater gliders, we needed a modern approach. So we met with Adrian, a thermal drone pilot.
The thermal drones are really effective because in the past, when we've been looking for these arboreal animals, they're quite cryptic, they're hard to find. So what the thermal does is it gives you this ability to find the animals in a way that is so unique, because every mammal has a heat signature. And when you can get above the canopy, you can really look down and find all the animals where they are. we found that you can cover so much more ground than you can when you're doing spotlighting. So whereas you used to need about 6 ecologists in a few weeks to cover hundreds of hectares, you can get one drone operator to cover that same amount of ground within 1 or 2 nights.
It didn't take long for us to find our first greater glider. The first of many.
And whenever we did see a heat signature, we would stop the drone and then change it over to colour imagery and then shine a spotlight on it so that we could see exactly what it is we're looking at. And we were able to find roughly 50 greater gliders over 50 hectares last night.
Nicely done.
Cheers.
Now that we knew where they were, it was time to head out and find them ourselves. And just as we expected, bingo. But we didn't just find one greater glider. We found up to 8 that night. Seeing gliders in this density proves that this species and many others can thrive in properly managed areas. In the next episode, we will meet the people working hard to ensure gliders have plenty of places to not just survive, but thrive throughout Australia.